live on Facebook. No, I'm not too sure. I think we're live. It's just processing. Hi guys, yes we were live. Sorry, lucky I didn't do anything like pick my nose or anything. Hi guys, welcome, come on in, welcome. I've got the phenomenal Alana Barry, co-author of our magnificent book, Empowered Women Empowering the World. Morning Lana, or afternoon for you. Welcome, how you going?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me, Sally.
Thanks so much for coming in. You're an angel, you're an absolute angel. So I'll get my notes here. Alana, this woman is something else. I met, when did we meet? Probably 18 months ago?
Yeah, approximately 18 months ago it was. Yeah.
Ago we met. Alana is a multi-award winning business owner. She's a mother of 2 gorgeous kids and a dedicated wife to her loving husband. Absolutely, she is. She's a coach and she is absolutely passionate about helping others to uncover their own passion and true potential. She's a business and life coach as well, and coached by Alana. And she's built a highly successful real estate agency. You and your team have both, you consistently rate in the top 5 Realway franchisees in Queensland, which is absolutely, truly phenomenal. And then you've gone on then to win multiple awards after that. If I was to list you, that would take our whole time up. But Alana's biggest thing is to believe in herself. That is like your biggest. When I read your chapter in our book, believing in yourself and backing yourself, you are a strong advocate for that. And Alana, thank gosh you did, because my gosh, you've made a big difference in a lot of people's lives, in business and in life. And you are truly an empowered woman, which is like absolutely phenomenal. But you've got an amazing story, and I really want you to, I'm going to hand it over to you now, because I want you to just start with that. Really, your story is phenomenal, so you can take it wherever you like. But yeah, go on then, let's get over to you.
I suppose I started as an average child, growing up with a single mum. I ended up landing a job in real estate. It's not the job I necessarily wanted. And that led to then basically finding a partner who I thought would be the father of my children. When I then decided I would have a child, planned child. He was a little bit older than me, and time was of the essence. We fell pregnant with my daughter, and we then, well, when I was pregnant with her, I suppose he changed in our relationship, and that was probably where I felt I changed, and that then became where he changed also. So he couldn't be the person that I met, and that's where domestic violence came into our relationship. So I was always the person who, believed in myself, was the go-getter. That was not someone who I was as a child. I was a shy child. I wasn't the achiever as a child. I didn't come first in the races. I was an average, child who just passed my grades. I wasn't the standout person. So as an adult, I chose to achieve, and I chose to be the go-getter, and I chose to be confident. So when I found a partner and chose to have a child and have a career, that was my goal, was to be the best mum, to be the best at my job, to turn up in the suit and pick up my child and do it all and have it all. So when he changed in the relationship and become violent, I always used to look at women who were in domestic violence relationships and think, why did they not leave? Not being horrible, but were they not strong enough? Like, just leave. It's not that hard. So for me, to become one of those women was very disempowering. It was very, I had to hide it. I couldn't tell people. It was very, just very disempowering. It was very hard to even speak about. It was, I could look after myself, but the way in which he threatened your family, it wasn't just you, it was your entire family. Even if you tried to leave, it was, threatening your family, your mum, your dad, your friends. It was the fact that they take it further. So you can look after yourself, but you can't look after everyone. And that's where you choose to stay and you choose to lessen yourself. And then you start to believe you're less and you start to listen, well, I mustn't be worthy. So that was a really big lesson for me. It was something where I valued myself less. And over 3.5 years, it was a long, long time. It took me at the age of, 19 to 21 and a half or so, it took me a long time to understand what I was doing to myself, what I was allowing to be done to me, and basically that I had to stand up for not just for me, but for other women. And then when my daughter was born, ask the question, do I want her to grow up like that? Do I want her to grow up thinking that that was okay to look at that relationship and think that that was okay for someone to treat her like that? And that's what made me stand up, because I think, if you don't do it for yourself, you'll probably do it for someone else. And that was my why. People ask you, what's your why? Sometimes you don't do something for you, but you'll do it for others. I did it for my daughter so that she didn't grow up knowing that that was okay, because it's not. And I always thought women must be weak to stay in a domestic violence relationship, but it's not. I wasn't weak. I was trying to keep my family safe. I knew I could keep me safe. Even if I stayed in that relationship, I could keep me safe, but I couldn't keep my family safe. I didn't know how to keep everyone safe. I moved on and was able to keep my daughter safe. It was a daily thing even thereafter, and I don't regret, it made me stronger as a person. And obviously I had to live, having a child and experiencing that for the rest of my life, and making sure my daughter was safe in that environment thereafter as well. So that was a task in itself too, and teaching her about those dangers as well, because, she had to revisit that environment thereafter.
You are one courageous woman to up and take, and I suppose it sort of happens gradually, and you just, like the domestic violence, I suppose it does, but I've not been in a domestic violence, negative, but I have been in one where I was psychologically sort of, the rug was always ripped out from underneath my feet, only for a short period of time, but I did feel unbalanced and unstable and unworthy. And it sort of grows on you until you realize, no, that's not okay. But then to step out with a new little baby, like, how old was your daughter when you left?
She was almost 12 months old when I realised, that knives and, stabbed in the wall, or punching, or 3-wick candle being thrown at you, or, just all those things was not okay. She physically was never harmed. It was always towards myself, but police turning up on the doorstep, or being her in the back seat of the car and him trying to kick me out of the car door or kicking in the windshield of the car was just not okay. So, yeah, you know, we live to tell the tale and it makes us stronger, but domestic violence is not okay. And I'm sure I gave my mum at the time a heart attack and she lives to tell the tale too. But, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, my daughter was almost 12 months old, and that's when I realised she was probably young enough at that time to not remember. Thank God, and you know, she wouldn't be scarred from that, and that meant that we could move on, and she would be able to, you know, not be scarred for life, and not have to live through that trauma.
Well, you've done a magnificent job, because she's a gorgeous, like, tween or young teenager now. Like, you and your husband, your gorgeous husband now, are doing a fabulous job with your children now. They're really good kids.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I was just reading here, you said domestic violence. Before I met him, I was a confident go-getter, lived in what your mum called the fantasy world of idealism. So you chose, from being a kid to then being an adult, that you were actually going to be an achiever, and you were actually going to be, you know, do the things that you want to do. Is just a switch in your mind changed? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I suppose when you're a child, I felt like you were dictated with more so what you had to do. So I feel like when you find what you really like, you tend to excel at it. So when you're passionate about something and you really find what you like to do, it's easy and you can do it. So my suggestion to people is just find what you're good at. Yeah. If you're really good at it, it's easy to do and you'll be great at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I did.
Yeah, and that's what you've done. And so then the sky was the limit, and you were unapologetically trying to reach it. I love the way you write. Your chapter is epic. It really is.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you said, and then living intimately with someone abusive, mentally or physically or both, erodes your self-belief, leaving you feel small and insignificant. And it wasn't until you did it, not for you, but for your daughter, and you grabbed her and you left that, because that was like, imagine if you were there still now. Your life would be very different.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, our lives would just, I can't even imagine, to be honest.
So your life now is quite phenomenal. You went on then to meet the man of your dreams, who is your husband.
Absolutely.
And he is divine. I love him too.
He is, yes.
and you guys have got a gorgeous boy. So you've got 2 children now.
Yes.
And your business, Realway Property, North Lakes Realway Property, is like, you and your team have reached the top. You're rated in the top 5 every year in Queensland. Like, you guys are really going places very quickly. So you are incredibly successful in business. And it wasn't until, and I was reading in your chapter, it wasn't until about 2 years ago that you were talking about, you know, what your children were going to do when they grew up. So take it from here, because this is a good one and I want to hear it from you. It's really good.
We were having a conversation with our children at dinner time about, you know, what they were going to do when they grow up. We have this quite regularly, and normally it's, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are you going to do? And, you know, doctor, teacher, all of those things. And we hadn't had it for a little while, to be honest. And so we were talking to our kids about it, and my daughter came out and I said, you know, naturally I thought they would both own businesses. I don't know why I had this idea in my head, but naturally, because Andy and I both own businesses, I just thought that they would follow suit. We don't necessarily want them to own our businesses. We want them to find their passion and want them to do what they want to do. But I just thought that they would own businesses. So my daughter said that no, she was just going to work for someone else. And I kind of was like, what? Why? And she said, I'm just going to work like 9 to 5. And I was like, why? And she said, why would I work 24/7, not have holidays? Like why? I'm just going to work 9 to 5, have holidays, and like I'm not working all the time. Why would I own a business when I can just do that and have holidays and go home? And I was like, what have I done wrong? I've done this all wrong. If my daughter does not want to own a business, I've done this all for nothing and I've done it completely wrong. So I kind of was talking to, well, obviously spoke to Andy because we were there together. I spoke to my kids, and then I spoke to my mentor and was talking to him about it. Like, I've done it wrong. Like, I've done it all wrong. If my kids don't want to own a business, then what have I, like, why have I done it? Obviously, I did it because I want to help people. And I realized, I don't know, people open businesses for all sorts of different reasons, but I originally opened it to help people. It wasn't to make money or to open 4 businesses or, to have the fancy car or anything like that. Mine was originally just to help people because I was sick of old school service not being offered or anything like that. So, but I spoke to my mentor about, how do I reverse this? Because I've totally ruined my daughter. She doesn't want to open a business. How can I change this back? Help me. And so over, a couple of months, and with just a few tweaks in the businesses that we had, I was able to not work evenings anymore, not work weekends. And my daughter saw that because I was able to get more of a work-life balance back and have more family time, a couple of months later, I asked the same question again, and she did a complete 180. And she was like, okay, well, the business she kind of was thinking about 12 months ago, she then was like, can we start thinking about opening that? So that was brilliant because I was like, okay, I haven't ruined her for life. So it's amazing. They definitely do look, and they definitely do mimic, and they do, just follow suit. But I thought that I had ruined her for life because I just worked all the time. And when they're little, they don't mind because they can't tell you what you're doing wrong. But now that she is 15, she certainly tells me what I'm doing wrong. And that was one of them.
And it's because it doesn't feel like work for you because you love it, because you
That's right,
and you love it. And it's like, we've got the same business mentor, and he talks about work-life blend. And it's a blessing that I have a family as well as you, because it stops me from working all the time, because I actually do need to do family time. Otherwise I would work all the time because I love it as well, same as you. So that was a good one. So the work-life blend. And then in the last 12 months, you and your husband have both made a huge step and change in the way that you guys run yourselves on a daily, weekly time now, don't you? You've got your family time, you've got your self time, you've got your work time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, aren't you? And I know from our conversations the difference it's made in your lives.
Yeah. So we were definitely, I myself was definitely like just work all the time. But now we definitely have strict guidelines with regards to, when we get up in the morning to beat the day, when we have time for ourselves, so we look after ourselves. Myself, I always used to use the excuse and put everyone else first. As a mum, we do that all the time. So it was always, I didn't have time to exercise or, there was always homework to do, or there was always dinner to cook, or I could always do that extra appointment at work to get that extra property on, or, you know, there was always something to do. So now we have very strict guidelines with regards to, you know, when we wake up in the morning, exercise, meditate, do all those things, and then that's before anyone even wakes up. So that can't even be interrupted. And then everyone wakes up, we set the kids up for the day, we go to work, and then we finish the day off, and we have our family time. You know, we have set times. This is going to sound horrible to some people, but we actually have booked in appointment times for our kids, one-on-one time. So, you know, today I have an art class with my daughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we have one-on-one time where, and Andy does it too. We, you know, with one-on-one time with the kids, and it's not necessarily to say that's the only time we have with them, but it's to make sure if our week gets busy, that specifically is time that we have with the kids, and it's not missed, so that they know there is important as an appointment in our diary.
Absolutely. So you have to plan for it. You have to plan for fun. You have to plan for time for yourself. It has to be planned. Otherwise, the other stuff that gets planned will overtake it. You're
absolutely. Yep.
That's really good. That's really good advice. Now, your business coaching and mentoring business, Coached by Alana, is absolutely thriving. What you have got to offer for business owners is amazing. Your wealth of knowledge in business is phenomenal. And then your wealth of knowledge now in, you know, business life balance, family, time for self is absolutely amazing, because I know before I had a business mentor, I was just floating along. I wasn't accountable. I wasn't answering to somebody, and I wasn't meeting deadlines. And I was sort of listlessly flitting along and spending too much time in the wrong areas. So you know yourself the importance of, or the difference in your life since you've had a business mentor.
Absolutely. Yeah. I believe it's really important to, I mean, I'm really organized, and I'm very disciplined, as probably are you, but it just helps to, you know, have someone to check in with and make you that little bit more accountable, to set guidelines and goals, you know, to whether it's revenue goals, whether it's, you know, just simply numbers goals with regards to targets, not necessarily revenue, but, you know, customers, how many people are walking through the door, how many people are you ringing this week to try and, you know, network with, all of those things. Even if it's just a life coach, not necessarily a business coach. It could be just someone who, you know, is going through and setting life goals with you. You know, all of those things are really important. And I think that the importance of a coach is just to have someone in your corner, you know, to make sure, whether it's fortnightly, that when you need someone to talk to you, you know, about the good things, to say, hey, that's amazing, you're doing a phenomenal job, or whether it's someone who you're having a really rough week and you need someone to go, you know what, that's normal and that's okay, and you're going to get through it, and have someone in your corner that's been there, done that, or that is not going to judge you for something that you might have really messed up on, and that they're going to hold your hand through it and just support you, rather than run the other way and go, wow, I can't believe you did that. So, you know, that to me is the importance of a coach, is just to have someone there so that you can bounce ideas off, they can support you in your journey, with no judgment whatsoever.
Yeah, I know. I have found having my own coach, my own business and life, because when your business, you're so passionate about it, it's not business and life for me, it's business and life blend. It really is.
Absolutely. Yep.
Same for you too. That having a coach most definitely has been, like, the growth I've had in the 12 months of having a coach far exceeded any business growth or life growth, really, to be honest. for years beforehand. So it makes you accountable, keeps you on track. And your coaching, like your business and life coaching, coached by Alana, is just a phenomenal business. Like, how many businesses do you run now? You and your husband, 3 or 4?
We've got 4.
Yeah, right. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And you juggle all of that with your children, and you look after yourself, and you and your husband have the most amazing relationship. So you guys are just rocking it. I really am so proud. You're one hell of an empowered woman. So where you've come from, just the average girl, to deciding you were going to be well above average, then getting smashed down through a destructive relationship, and now you're skyrocketing. And the main thing for the whole thing is you backed yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want to do anything in life, you fully have to believe in yourself. And look, you're going to waver throughout it. And I certainly have in different avenues of life, but 100% have to believe in yourself in order to conquer anything. And anything is possible. Like, as I said at the start, I was the average person. I didn't come, from a rich, wealthy family. I came from an average family. I wasn't first in the race. I always say to my kids, I was never first in the race. I was last in the race. I didn't jump over the high jump. I ran through and grabbed the bar. I was not that kid that, achieved. I was the average kid, just barely getting C's in my schooling. So if I can do it, everyone in the world can do it. You just need to find your passion and achieve, and make sure that you back yourself 100%.
They are great workers, Alana. You are an absolute love. Thank you so much for coming in today. And I really am so pleased. I'm so honoured to be in this book with you, Empowered Women Empowering the World, because you're a perfect example for so many women. They can relate. There are so many women out there that can relate to you. They've been in your shoes, or they are still in your shoes, and they're wondering whether they've got it in them to chase down whatever dreams it is that they really want, or they're probably not even aware of their own dreams, goals and aspirations, because you hide them, you jam them down when you don't back yourself. So thanks so much for coming, my dear. Thank so much.
Thanks for having me.
You're an absolute angel. See you guys.
Bye.